might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you, since I know everything you're going to do! Strange, isn't it?
While Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was being developed here in America, another Sonic game was simultaneously being produced back in Japan for the Sega CD, the graveyard of FMV games. The final result would be one of the only games actually playable on the system, Sonic CD. Now, I actually don't own a Sega CD myself, so instead I asked my Uncle Greg to lend me a hand this time. This is the JVC-XI. It's a system that's both a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD. It originally retailed for over $500 when it was first released, so I won't even begin to imagine what my uncle paid for just to get this. Now you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just review it off the Sonic Gems collection? Well, I like to be as authentic as possible. Plus, controlling Sonic with the Genesis controller just feels better than using a GameCube controller. In this game, we're introduced to two more staple characters of the franchise, Metal Sonic and Amy Rose, which the manual mistakenly refers to as Princess Sally from the Sad AM series. How did they screw that up? They look nothing alike. Well, actually, this could explain where Amy would later develop her color blindness. She got it from the goddamn makers of this game. And lo and behold, this is probably the only game which you can actually tolerate her, and it's all because she doesn't talk. She just follows you and occasionally hugs you, and even then it's only on the first stage. Metal Sonic will go on to be one of the most popular villains in the franchise, which is odd because I didn't think he left that much of an impression. You can't even maneuver over a solid wall. Sonic CD as a whole definitely shows what the Sega CD is capable of. The graphics are eons more colorful than anything on the Genesis, and the sound quality is top notch as well. But to be perfectly honest, I think the level designs are absolute shit, and sometimes the color palette can be a bit too loud. How can you play levels like this and not get dizzy? I'll give the developers props for trying to have this game stick out from the rest, but I think they may have overdone it in a few zones. In addition to having a louder color palette, the series also has for the first time CD quality music. Take this intro song, Sonic Boom. It's a pretty nice song.
Sonic Warrior, toot Sonic Warrior, toot Sonic Warrior.
What the hell are you singing?
Oh, I'm just singing the intro song for Sonic CD. You Can Do Anything, or Toot Sonic Warrior.
Toot Sonic... Dude, Sonic Boom is the intro song, not this toot shit you're singing.
Well, you see, what happened is that both games got separate soundtracks between the Japanese release and the US release. Both soundtracks are fine, but they got separate theme songs. I don't know why. I guess they didn't think Americans would like a song that goes toot Sonic Warrior.
In terms of gameplay, it's your usual Sonic gig. Although this time when Sonic picks up a lot of speed, the camera veers to the left, allowing you to see more of what's ahead of Sonic, so it's harder to run into things accidentally. The spin dash makes a return, though its timing is slightly different. In Sonic 2, as you started winding up the spin dash, you could immediately let go and get some instant speed. However, in this game, you have to wait until the charge finishes completely before you can take off. If you don't, Sonic will act as if he never performed the spin dash at all and just stand there like a moron. The spin dash is fast, don't get me wrong, but his quick start is gone. But maybe that was done on purpose to put in favor of Sonic's new move, the Super Peel Out. Performing it is just like performing the spin dash, only instead of holding down, you hold up. Sonic will wind up his feet creating a figure 8 and blast off with great speed. Unlike the spin dash, you don't have to wait until it's charged up completely, which makes it a bit more preferable. Don't get too used to it though, because this is the only console game where it makes its appearance. It does make a return in some of the Game Gear titles, but after this game it's never brought back.
However, the biggest aspect of this game is the use of time travel. Scattered throughout each stage are posts that read past and future. When you're out past one of them, Sonic will begin to leave a trail of sparks whenever he speeds up. If you manage to maintain a high speed, Sonic will travel in time according to which post he touched. The level design and mood reflects what time period you're in. If you're in the past, it's rather primitive and a bit more wild, while the future is usually desolate and empty. However, by traveling back into the past and destroying this specific machine, not only will it wipe out every badnik in the level, but it allows to create a good future in which animals roam free and the environment is bright and cheery. This is your true goal. In order to get at the good ending, you need to create good futures for each specific zone.
However, if constant time traveling is not your sort of thing, you can try another method, collecting the Time Stones, which are pretty much this game's equivalent to Chaos Emeralds. Like Sonic 1, you'll need to earn at least 50 rings to jump into the giant ring at the end of an act. In these special stages, you need to control Sonic through incredibly trippy areas and destroy UFOs. If you touch any water, you'll waste lots of time, and there's plenty of crap to make sure you don't finish the stage at all. Okay, what were these people thinking when they were creating the concepts for these special stages? I mean, look at this!
When you destroy all the UFOs, you're rewarded with a Time Stone. If you manage to collect them all, it automatically creates good futures for every zone and guarantees you the good ending. However, because they're Time Stones and not Chaos Emeralds, collecting all of them won't grant you the ability to become supersonic.
Dr. Robotnik's boss battles are also a lot more gimmicky this time. The boss fights aren't so much as hitting Robotnik a certain amount of times, but being able to actually hit him at all. Take this boss fight for instance. In order to beat Robotnik, you need to wear down his machine by constantly running on the treadmill, which will shred his machine apart if you manage to keep your speed up. To be honest, I actually really like this approach to Robotnik boss battles, and I wish fights like these would return in future Sonic games. Then, of course, there's the Metal Sonic race sequence, which is what most people remember. This type of fight also needs to return. I mean, hell, Sonic is all about speed and platforming, he could use more bosses like this. Like I said, the level designs are all over the place in this game, but some of them are actually very fun to travel through. Palm Tree Panic.
Just imagine Green Hill Zone on crack, and you get this zone. There are loads of springs all over the place and plenty of different routes. It's a great starting level.
Collision Chaos. Chaos is correct. Not only is this zone pink, but there's all kinds of obstacles and other things that'll send Sonic back in the opposite direction. It can almost make you sick. This is also where Amy gets kidnapped by Metal Sonic. Tidal Tempest.
Remember Labyrinth Zone? This is it on steroids. You'll spend 80% of your time in water, so make sure you know what you're doing and grab some air bubbles whenever you spot them.
Quartz Quadrant.
I can never exactly figure out the theme to this level. Some say it's a mining level, but I get more of a scrap brain zone feel with the conveyor belts and cramped spaces. It's actually not too bad of a level, so you can breeze through it pretty quickly.
Wacky Workbench. Ugh, I hate this level. You'll be bouncing more than a crack addict on a trampoline. They really went overboard trying to make this level as gimmicky as possible. It's not that bad, but don't play this level in the dark unless you want a massive headache at the end of the game.
I was frozen today!
Stardust Speedway.
It's like Starlight Zone, only more starry and speedy. Again, another level I think they overdid in terms of level design, but as a whole it's actually pretty dang easy.
At the end is where we race Metal Sonic, in which you need to get through the specific point before he does. While you're racing, Robotnik will constantly be on your tail with his instant kill laser that murders you even if you have rings. Though, why didn't he use that since the beginning?
After beating Metal Sonic, we rescue Amy. Huzzah? Metallic Madness. The final zone of the game, and surprisingly it's not very hard, just long. There's this one particular part you'll probably get stuck in because your jump isn't high enough to reach the next area, and the other section is closed off. It turns out that the slow-moving column will actually bounce Sonic high enough to reach the next area. Well, how the hell does that work? You're seriously telling me that this column is capable of launching Sonic that high at its current speed? This complete disregard of physics angers me. The final boss is pathetic. Well, after the first hit anyway. I think it's impossible to hit Robotnik the first time without actually losing rings. Even Sonic Retro agrees with that. So yeah, don't get used to having a lot of rings.
Like the previous games, you can also enter a cheat code to enter a level select screen, or a sound test. If you put in certain numbers in the sound test, you can actually get some secret images. Hey look, I guess Sonic was trying to appear in Dragon Ball Z after all.
Completely weird and creepy.
Good lord, this is what the Warthog should have looked like.
Aw, chibi Sonic. Yeah.
A bit too cute.
Sonic has gray eyes? Ruined forever!
Looks like an advertisement for Toyota.
See you in what game? Sonic Drift? Fuck that.
See you next game. Why weren't you in Sonic CD, you lazy bastard? Ugh, God, it's Mario and Sonic combined together. Evil spawn of Satan.
My eyes! It burns!
Yo, Sonic's totally gangster. Yo. He's an awesome and rad and all that bullshit.
The fastest DJ alive. Mix Sonic.
That's MC Sonic, Elliot. Sonic CD in the end didn't sell many copies, and it's certainly not the game's fault, it was the overall suckiness of the Sega CD that did it in. Sega would soon learn from this and have future Sonic games released strictly for the Sega Genesis, you know, the more popular system. It would eventually be re-released as part of the Sonic Gems collection, which was actually based off the PC port of the game, packed with higher quality cutscenes and faster loading times. Overall, Sonic CD is pretty much one of the best games on the Sega CD. But comparing it to other Sonic games, well, I like the boss concepts, the super peel-out move, and the music, but the level design is just all over the place. And the colors can be the equivalent of someone puking up their Fruit Loops and rearranging it to look like loops and slopes. But bad level design aside, it's still a great Sonic game, and I recommend you try it out. It's definitely out there. We'll give this game an 8.5 out of 10. And yes, I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off by ranking this lower than Sonic 1, but honestly that's just how it ranks with me. All I can say is play the game and judge for yourself.
I'm out of here!
Next time on Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic visits the mysterious floating island in the sky.
Some little bitches, you wanna name the levels, and I ain't coming to this place here for shits and troubles. So take a step back unless you wanna get knocked, cause I'm a bad motherfucker with some woody dreadlocks. So I'm looking at you, Sonic, cause you think that you're fast, but if you go around, then you're never gonna last. Cause your rhymes are oh bro, I think it's a no-go. You sound kinda shitty like Dwayne Brando, but that's how it goes, so don't get me pissed. I got some big ass hands with some spice on my fist, and I fly through the air with the greatest of ease. I'm gonna hit a one-up, busting up some TVs. Bitch, please, put your ass on disabilities and pimps back your ass, take away your credibility.
What? Oh, just rebuild it? Oh, that's real f***ing original. And who's gonna give me a loan, jackhole? You? You got an ATM on that torso light bright?